The laughter started before the girl even finished her sentence. "Can I play for some food?" A few people standing near the small outdoor cafe in downtown Toronto exchanged amused looks. Someone chuckled. Another person whispered, "Play what?" with a smirk. The girl standing in front of them looked no older than 14. Her oversized jacket hung loosely on her thin frame. And her shoes were worn so badly that the soles were peeling away. Her hair was messy, and her hands trembled slightly from the cold autumn air. Beside the cafe's patio sat an old public piano. One of those community pianos the city places around the streets so anyone can play. Most days, it was used by music students, tourists, or street performers hoping for spare change. But this girl wasn't carrying a violin case or a tip jar. She simply stood there, staring at the piano and then at the people eating sandwiches and drinking coffee. One of the men at the table laughed openly. "You want food for playing that thing," he said. "Kid, you probably don't even know how." The girl didn't argue. She just looked down at the ground for a moment. Hunger had a way of making pride feel small. Finally she nodded slowly and said quietly, "I can try." The cafe owner, a middle-aged woman named Laura, had been watching from the doorway. She'd seen many people ask for help before. But something about the girl's voice caught her attention. It wasn't begging. It sounded more like a simple request, almost polite. Laura crossed her arms and said, "If you can play something nice, I'll get you a sandwich." More laughter came from the nearby tables. A young man raised his phone, ready to record what he expected would be a funny moment to post online. The girl walked toward the piano slowly, as if each step required courage. She sat down on the bench and ran her fingers lightly across the dusty keys. For a second she didn't move. Her eyes closed, and she took a deep breath. The street noise continued around her, cars passing, people talking, dishes clinking, but then her fingers touched the keys. The first notes were soft. So soft that at first nobody paid much attention. But then the melody grew deeper, richer. And suddenly the sound filled the entire street corner. It wasn't the clumsy playing people expected from a homeless child. It was beautiful. The kind of music that makes conversations slowly fade away. The man holding the phone lowered it slightly. The girl's fingers moved across the keys with surprising confidence, creating a melody full of emotion, gentle in some moments, powerful in others. It sounded like a story being told without words. People walking past the cafe slowed down. Some stopped completely. Within seconds, the laughter was gone. A woman sitting nearby covered her mouth as her eyes filled with tears. A construction worker who had been eating lunch leaned back in his chair, staring at the girl in disbelief. Even the traffic noise seemed quieter as more people